Lobries and Gentlegrams, in today's episode of Lobry in Gentleland, when LeBron concluded cooking for the Cavaliers, the Canadian Katy Perry was sent to tears as his big break in music nearly neared the moment where he'd be heard by hundreds of ears. Fast forward a couple years and LeBron is making millions, humiliating haters with the Miami Heat when the harmonizing Hannah Montana of hip-hop had his first lyrical defeat. With Meek, in a rap battle he went back to back, before Pusha T came with the casket to verbally smack and pack. The Canadian clown when Bron was back with the Cavs, LaBrianna got exposed for hiding a child the world didn't know he had. Championships for Bron while the BBL buffoon made platinum albums, till LeBron hit the Lakers and got caught in the middle like Malcolm. Just like the Lakers' home court of LA, the West Coast warrior King Kung Fu Kenny came out to play and lay the casket for the Canadian crybaby Karen clown, while LeBron danced to Not Like Us and let LaBrianna down. A decade of friendship now down the drain. But what exactly caused this irreparable stain? Irreversible disdain, irreconcilable, deranged, irreplaceable tattoo of LeBron on Lobry's bicep vein. In this video, we'll unpack their full story, but first drop a like and subscribe to keep me in all my glory. Now, Lobries and Gentlegrams, before we get started, I got a massive announcement for you guys. I've officially launched the first Rapaholics TV show commentary channel. So if you guys are a fan of anything from Family Guy, South Park, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Truman Show, and a bunch of other TV shows and movies, then check out my brand new channel. We're going to be breaking down all these classics and more. The link will be in the description. So please, if you love me, show a little support, alright? Now, after over a decade of friendship, with LeBron at one point even telling the lawsuit-slanging lunatic that he can never let him down.
I didn't want to further your reputation or your career by rapping back at you and having this exchange. And that was it for me.
Drake texts you and like, am I letting you down?
Yeah, what'd I tell you?
What did you say to him?
You said that I can never let you down.
2 years later, Drake covering up his LeBron tattoo, and his Big Mac minion Akademiks even saying that Drake and LeBron used to host parties in Toronto where Drake would find women for LeBron to cheat on his wife with.
Yo, LeBron, you and Drake used to go on two-mans. You've been cheating on your wife. Drake used to facilitate the and basically, essentially, you can't dance to a song about him being a he used to supply you with the
all of this stemming from the fact that LeBron, just like the rest of us, was a massive fan of the stomping that the short-statured sharpshooting assassin performed on the Sexy Red stunt double. And this has led Drake to drop multiple sneak disses in new music aimed at LeBron, and even changed lyrics to diss him at his shows. So let's understand what exactly went wrong between LaBrianna and LeBron. Now, for context, because again, this obviously stems from LeBron being a fan of not just Kendrick Lamar's performance in the rap battle, but the rap battle in general. You'll see later in this video, he was actually supporting Drake before Kendrick Lamar even dropped a diss track. And LeBron has been a strong supporter of any rapper who's doing their thing within hip-hop for all of history. Ironically, on a podcast with Drake, he even called himself a hip-hop historian.
As a hip-hop historian who loves hip-hop, I would love for you to respond.
Of course, we want to hear it.
I did, by the way. I did, by the way.
Yeah,
you
wrote the song.
I did, and I said terrible things.
Yeah, I said, I want you to read.
And if you don't want to stick around for this whole video, to summarize it, essentially Drake is mad that LeBron, the hip-hop historian, was supporting hip-hop. But there is a much darker element to this story, as you heard from DJ Akademiks' allegations against LeBron, and this could lead to some interesting content on Drake's new album, where maybe he reveals what him and LeBron were doing at these Toronto parties at Drake's crib. We're gonna break that down, but I think one thing that most of us don't really ever think about, but we probably should, is just how exposed we are simply by using the internet every single day. Privacy, it doesn't exist anymore. Seriously, just Google your name. You'd be surprised how much of your information is out there. And think about this, right? Do you use the same password for your email, your bank account, your YouTube account, all your different accounts? Yeah, that's a problem. You ever wonder how scammers get your phone number or why your email's packed with spam? It's because there are companies called data brokers that track and sell your personal info without you even knowing. But today we're going to change that with the help of this video sponsor, Aura. See, as a YouTuber, I need to make sure my YouTube account never gets hacked and my personal info stays private. And that's what led me to Aura. They automatically remove my data from all the websites I visit. They alert me if my information shows up on the dark web, and they help protect my accounts with a built-in password manager and an antivirus antivirus tool. And if something does go wrong, they even have up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. You don't have to be a tech genius to protect yourself. Use the QR code on the screen, the link in my description, or just type in aura.com/rapaholics and you'll get a 2-week free trial, which is more than enough time for you to check out if your information has been exposed to sketchy websites. Stay respected and protected. To give Drake some credit, him and LeBron did seem to be pretty close friends from the beginning of Drake's career. Drake's big break was in 2009. February of 2009 with the release of his third mixtape So Far Gone, which obviously spawned the massive hits Best I Ever Had and Successful. He signed to Lil Wayne's Young Money record label before releasing the mixtape, and Lil Wayne had a friendship with LeBron before Drake was even in the picture. So it makes sense that when Lil Wayne's newest protege was throwing a party to celebrate the release of his blockbuster mixtape, LeBron actually made an appearance. And Drake spoke about how early on this was one of the most pivotal moments in his career. And from then on, LeBron became not only a brother to him, but also a massive inspiration.
I think one of the most pivotal moments for me in my career was when you showed up to the So Far Gone party in Toronto. Not to be like overly sentimental, but we're brothers and we're friends, but you're one of the biggest inspirations, period, in life.
And as far as LeBron tells it, his friendship with Drake actually spanned before the So Far Gone days, with him knowing Drake as far back as 2007.
I've been knowing Drake since 2007. We've grown closer and closer every year. I'm proud of who he is today, not only as an artist, not only as a son, but as a father. You know, he's one of the biggest stars that we have on this planet right now. And it's just because of who he is and his hard work and dedication to his craft. So.
And Drake would never forget the moment of LeBron making an appearance at his So Far Gone release party, even pointing to the fact in an Instagram caption 10 years after the release of So Far Gone, when he tagged LeBron and said, "A decade ago you came to my release party at the 6 Degrees Club and made me the biggest artist in the city off your presence alone." 15 years later, he would reference that same 6 Degrees Club in his Fighting Irish freestyle, rapping, "6 degrees, my memories retrieving our humble beginnings." This entire freestyle was in reference to the fact that he felt betrayed by LeBron throughout his beef with Kendrick, and even made a thinly veiled threat in that same song saying, "God forbid we gotta tarnish your public image." So what does Drake know about LeBron that he's holding over his head? Well, let's continue on with this story. See, shortly after Drake released his massive mixtape So Far Gone and LeBron made an appearance at the release party, LeBron would go on to release a documentary of his own titled More Than a Game. And on the soundtrack to that documentary featured a Drake track, which had actually been recorded way back in 2008 with Lil Wayne, but was reworked specifically for LeBron's movie soundtrack, and it now featured not just Lil Wayne, but also Kanye West and Eminem. One of the greatest posse cuts of this generation, and I think Kanye even said that all the artists on that track killed their verses so hard that he had to go back and redo his, and I think he still had the worst verse on that track. But so they released this song specifically for LeBron's documentary, and LeBron even makes an appearance in the music video playing poker. And as a kid watching this music video, I never understood the LeBron appearance in it. Like, you know, it's this triumphant song about them dominating in their respective fields forever, and LeBron is just chilling there with a Beatz laptop. Have you ever even seen a Beatz by Dr. Dre laptop? And he's just playing poker on it? It doesn't really fit the overall vibe of the song. But Aubrey and LeBron would continue forming and building their friendship. They were seen together at Jay-Z's old club, 4040, for the after party of his Madison Square Garden concert way back in 2010. And in 2011, the Lovebirds would take their relationship up a notch to the texting level. They started sending each other motivational texts. While LeBron was gearing up for a game against the Chicago Bulls, Drake had sent him a BBM, a BlackBerry message. Drop a comment if you remember the BBM days. So Drake texted him, "Tonight is your night." And when he was asked about it, he said, "I always let LeBron know it's his night. Let's get it. Let's go out there with a clear mind and forget all the other stuff going on and just stay focused on the task. That ring. Tonight, I told him it was his night, and it was his night tonight. I want to see him get this ring really badly. It's something about being out there. I get out of my seat and kneel on the court as if I'm about to get in the game. We're playing on a similar wavelength." And I think this was the core of Drake and LeBron's friendship, right? They were both playing on similar wavelengths and made ascensions to the top of their respective fields at the same time. Think about 2009, right? LeBron was on his 6th NBA season. He had just won his first MVP, and he was seen as a rising superstar, but not yet as the greatest. He hadn't won a championship yet, so debates about GOAT status were premature. And Drake, on the same end of the spectrum, was just breaking out with So Far Gone, gaining major buzz, but he hadn't even dropped a studio album yet. LeBron was already elite in his field when Drake was just emerging in the spotlight, but both of them were on the cusp of superstardom, fighting for that GOAT status. And it's that similar drive that they both had that made the bond between each other stronger. Drake even spoke on their relationship saying, with LeBron, for me, it was kind of just that we were ascending at similar times. LeBron even called Drake his family, saying, what we have is real family. It's not just because we're successful at what we do, we really care about one another on a day-to-day basis. Anytime you get a friend that can come and support you in what you do, I really respect that. He has a busy schedule, I respect it, but anytime I get some free time, I try to support him as well. But while the mutual love and admiration was very clear, what was also clear is that beyond them having a strong friendship, Drake was kind of like a super fan. He'd go to a bunch of LeBron games, always shower LeBron with the most praise in interviews. He tatted LeBron on his arm. And you'll see in this video that with each massive milestone that LeBron achieved, it was always Drake very vocal in celebrating his victories. But was that same praise always reciprocated on LeBron's end? Well, not exactly. But they were definitely friends. So, very ironically, right? You know how all of this beef stemmed from the fact that LeBron was singing Not Like Us. And a lot of the PDF allegations made in Not Like Us stemmed from the fact that Drake brought a 17-year-old female fan on stage at one of his concerts and, you know, just acted very oddly. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, well, that was actually a popular segment in all of Drake's shows early on, when he would bring female fans on stage and then, you know, just interact with them. And LeBron actually made an appearance at a 2010 Drake show, and Drake was trying to have LeBron pull out one of the female fans that night from the crowd to bring up on stage.
Make some noise for the MVP. That's usually part of the show where I find a girl in the crowd, I bring her up on stage and dance with her. So, you want to pick her? Oh, it is. There's a lot of them over here. How you doing? What's in there?
So it's funny how all these things connect, right? Not Like Us allegations stemmed from Drake doing this routine where he would pick out a fan from the crowd and bring them on stage. He actually did that with LeBron and had LeBron pick out the female fan at one of his concerts. Then LeBron is singing Not Like Us with all the allegations stemming from Drake pulling female fans on stage. And because of that, Drake and Akademiks start alluding to the fact that LeBron was cheating on his wife with women that he would pick out at Drake parties in Toronto. Very ironic connections here. And Drake and LeBron would continue celebrating their wins together. In February 2011, they attended the Two Kings dinner in California. That same year, Drake would again go on to say that he supports LeBron any chance he could and that they have a wavelength connection. They're both kind of on the same path chasing these goals.
Yeah, we're family, like, for real. You know, before every game, we have, like, great conversations, like, you know, just life conversations, and I try and encourage him as much as I can. I support. When I come to the game, I feel like we have some, like, wavelength connection. You know, I feel like my energy and his, like, we're just connected, like, in a way that two young individuals chasing a dream that would seem extremely distant, we can relate, you know, like we're in the same position.
And that year, Drake was even supposed to be a guest star and play himself in LeBron James's animated web series called The LeBrons. I couldn't find it online though, so I'm not sure if that came to fruition. Drop a comment if you remember it. And while Drake early on was fighting for LeBron to get his first championship with the Miami Heat, a funny moment occurred in around 2012-2013 when his mentor Lil Wayne actually got banned from Miami Heat games. And they're at a club and Lil Wayne actually gets on stage to say F the NBA, F LeBron, and that he F'd Chris Bosh's wife. And you could see Drake in the background doing his best to like hide his face and hide from the camera as Lil Wayne is saying, you know, F all these people.
The NBA banned me from all NBA it's because the Miami Heat told them to ban me. When I say you say NBA. NBA! LeBron, T-Wayne, Chris Bosh, and I Chris Bosh's wife.
And on a funny side note, before I started doing these full-length videos, I actually used to edit short-form clips of different hip-hop moments, and this was the first clip that ever got any views on my old TikTok page. I was the one who edited that. We came a long way, but so did LeBron because he finally won his first ring in 2012 with the Miami Heat. And Drake was right there to celebrate with him. After the finals game 7, Drake was seated courtside, and he was actually, funny enough, denied access to the Miami Heat locker room after the game. He was told it was for media only, but he told them, I am the effing media. These were the early days of Drake's phony Montana mob boss persona emerging, but later that night, he would go on to Club Story to celebrate LeBron's win with LeBron himself. Then he would drop his 5 a.m. in Toronto freestyle and name drop LeBron, saying, "I'm on my King James stuff, I'm trying to win here again." And while Drake was trying to win around this same time, there was another rapper trying to win, some would say just a little bit harder than Drake was, and that was none other than Kendrick Lamar. This is when Kendrick steps into the picture, right? 2012, 2013, he drops his massive major label studio album, Good Kid, Mad City, and immediately right off the rip receives praise that no rapper of that generation, Drake included, had received. It's a classic right off rip. Multiple cultural classics like Money Trees, Mad City, Swimming Pools, Beat Don't Kill My Vibe, ironically Poetic Justice with Drake as well, Backseat Freestyle. And LeBron, being the hip-hop historian that he is, was very quick to co-sign Kendrick, meeting him for the first time in 2012.
They're good. He's so good.
George, contain this out. I'm gonna take big time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. I talked to Jay the other day too. I told him I was coming to see y'all, man. Yeah. Y'all come to Miami on the 27th. I'll be at the show too. What up, fam? All right. What's up? Yeah, E.
There was also this tweet from LeBron in 2012 where he shouts out a bunch of rappers, including Kendrick, Big Crit, Fly Union, Dom Kennedy, Nipsey Hussle, A$AP Rocky, and Meek Mill. Funny enough, Drake is not mentioned in this tweet. I'm not sure what he was referencing here. But you see LeBron quickly become a massive Kendrick Lamar fan right off the rip. Even before Good Kid, Mad City was released, you could see LeBron posted on his Instagram that he was attending a Kendrick Lamar show in September of 2012, captioning it saying Kendrick Lamar got DC rocking crazy. But he loved both artists. In 2013, he revealed his top 5 at the time were Drake, Kanye West, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Kendrick Lamar. And keep in mind, this is just about 2 weeks before Kendrick dropped that Control verse. And that verse, of course, set the flame for the dumpster fire on the Defamation Don's career a decade later. Drake was not happy about that Control verse. He made that very known, and then of course, this spiraled into a slew of subliminal warfare, which capitulated in 2024. But one person who was very supportive of that Control verse and all the intention behind it was none other than LeBron James. Right after the verse dropped, LeBron tweeted out saying, "This is real hip-hop at its best. Kendrick Lamar boxed them into a corner. We're going crazy over here, people." And if you notice, LeBron tweeted this out at 12:15 in the morning on August 13th, 2013, about 3 or 4 hours after the song actually came out. So as you could see, LeBron wasn't just tapped into what Drake was doing, he was tapped into everything going on within hip-hop and was reacting to it within real time. Don't forget, he is a hip-hop historian. And at one point, he even dabbled in a hip-hop career of his own. And the first artist who was down to lay down a track with LeBron was none other than La Brianna. In 2014, TMZ caught up with him leaving LeBron's premiere party for his new TV show at the time, Survivor's Remorse, and they asked Drake if he'd collaborate with LeBron on a record. Drake said, "Of course."
What up, Dreezy? Yo, what'd you think of the show, man?
It was great, man.
Yo, LeBron dropped a little single. I was wondering if you'd ever make music with him, man.
Oh, always, man. You gotta tell him to get at me.
We see you later, Drake. Have a good night, man.
And while they never ended up collaborating on record, they would take their relationship to the next level, collaborating on a kickball court. Yes, the Toronto Taylor Swift brought LeBron to his hometown to play a kickball game in 2015, but it ended up getting rained out, so they had a very romantic time joking around under the bleachers together.
Well, it's been postponed. The game has been postponed because the sickest god is raining on top of us right now.
This wasn't the request that I sent up. I asked for sunshine.
And while Kickball led commentators to conclude their chemistry was casual, the Canadian clown concocted a scheme to escalate his camaraderie with the Cav Master by making a move for a kiss after Game 6. May 2016, the Cavs versus the Raptors.
See you Thursday on ABC for the finals, with SportsCenter is next in the trophy.
So you can see here LeBron's like in a rush, you know, he's running out, but he notices Drake, he stops to give him a hug, and Drake, I mean, just to look at what he's trying to do here, like this is obviously an attempt, you know, at taking things to the next level. He did the same thing to Rihanna in that same year, and what's funny is I think Rihanna rejected his kiss more than LeBron did. So, after Drake made a fool of himself trying to kiss Rihanna on the VMA stage, he took his Views album on tour and brought LeBron on stage at one of the concerts, but this time it wasn't to scout for female fans in the crowd to bring on stage, it was instead for them to shower each other in praise.
Ohio, if you don't make some noise for the king right now, you're out of your mind. Oh, we gotta do it for old time's sake. Hold on, wait. I can't trust. Now you gotta talk to me and people one time before you go, please. Give it up for my brother Doechii and Drake. Make some noise for the king, LeBron James and That's a hometown hero. That's what you call a hometown hero right there.
And notice here, him and LeBron are dancing to the line, I can't trust no effing buddy. Drake should have seen the signs the whole time, man. LeBron was dancing to the music where Drake was prophesizing what would happen with their friendship. And during this same time, the foundation for the fall of their friendship would form as LeBron's infatuation and fandom for the far more ferocious fire spitter would flourish. Drop a like for that one. I thought of that one on the spot. But what I'm talking about is around 2016, right? Both Drake and Kendrick Lamar are at the top of the game. Both of them doing incredible things, and LeBron is again a fan of both of them. And while he might not appear dancing around, jumping up and down on stage with Kendrick during his performance the same way he does with Drake, he was definitely vocal about his love for Kendrick's music on social media. So LeBron had the chance to hear a bunch of the untitled, unmastered songs that didn't make the track list for To Pimp a Butterfly, but LeBron thought they deserved a release. So he tweeted out in February of 2016 saying, "Yo, after that Kendrick Lamar Grammy performance, you have to release those untitled tracks ASAP. What's up? Talk to me." Kendrick listened to him and ended up dropping 7 of these unreleased tracks, and LeBron had said that that music was getting him into a good headspace and said Kendrick was a good friend to him and delivered that music early to LeBron.
Got an opportunity to listen to some music the last few days, and obviously, good friend of mine, Kendrick blessed me with that album that just dropped.
LeBron is then asked in an interview if there's any backstory to Kendrick dropping these unreleased songs on LeBron's request, and LeBron says, "It's just family ties, that's all. It's family ties. We're really close. We admire each other's work and each other's craft. And even with him being all the way on the West Coast and me being here, we share a lot of qualities, being around the same age." As far as the album goes, Untitled Unmastered, LeBron said it was great. I think he's great. It's great to have family like that and people, even in different areas, not just in sports, that you can look to and hear for inspiration and things of that nature. So notice here, LeBron has a big habit of not just calling himself a hip-hop historian and messing up song lyrics, but also calling rappers his family, right? Him, Kendrick, TDE, that's family ties. He calls Drake his brother. But anyways, LeBron didn't want to take credit for Kendrick releasing Untitled Unmastered. He got on Twitter and said, "Don't thank me, thank Kendrick for being one incredible artist. His outlook on things and insight he possesses aren't common." The next year, LeBron and Drake would take their relationship up a notch, having a candlelit dinner at LeBron's house. LeBron captioning the post saying, "It's really one of those nights at the crib. Can't even explain what's going on. 6 God and King moves. Chess, not checkers." This would be around the same time Drake, LeBron, and Chris Bosh teamed up for a podcast on the Uninterrupted show where they once again gave each other their flowers. This is the same show I played a clip of earlier before where Drake details how LeBron showing up to his So Far Gone release party was one of the pivotal moments in his career. And LeBron did have some nice things to say about Drake in return, saying he's one of the greatest guys that he's ever encountered. But I don't know, it always seems like Drake takes things to a different level when talking about LeBron, and it's not necessarily fully reciprocated all the way there on LeBron's end himself.
Sitting with 2 of the greatest guys that I've ever encountered with, spend time with, that people know about, and some things that people don't know about, but how we just collectively inspired each other, and then you sit back and you just say, I'm truly blessed.
Now the W's and bond between Bronny and the BBL buffoon would become bigger as the years progressed. 2018 comes around and LeBron achieves the milestone of hitting 30,000 points throughout his entire career, which garners a response congratulatory video from his #1 fan, Phony Montana.
LeBron, I'm honored to be a part of yet another historic night for you. 30,000 career points. It's incredible. It seems like every time we look up, you're setting another milestone or breaking another record. And I always tell you, you're one of the most inspirational people in my life. I'm honored to call you a brother. Every time you do something like this, I always try and get in the studio and make the song that would go with the moment. So I'm excited to go to work tonight. Because you're at 30,000 tonight, we got to do something really special. So this is the most expensive bottle I could find. 61 Petrus. I don't even know if we should drink this, but 30,000, it's only right. It's the perfect bottle for the perfect. Oh, it's a devastating loss.
And that's a $25,000 bottle of wine that he dropped on the floor for the sake of the skit. And at the same time, Drake is celebrating some dubs of his own, with his song God's Plan breaking the US Spotify record for the biggest single day streaming numbers, 4.3 million streams. So Drake posts this on his Instagram and compares his victory to LeBron's 30,000 point career milestone, saying, "Congrats, King, samesies." And ironically, you know who would later go on to break that Spotify record that Drake held with God's Plan? Well, it was none other than Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. And don't get it confused, we didn't forget about Kendrick. See, as much love as LeBron is showing Drake, he also emphasizes that there's a different type of connection, a different level of connection that he has when listening to Kendrick's music, right? Drake always attributes the fact that their bond grew so strong because of the connection, the similar situation they were in, both trying to ascend to the top at similar periods of time. Well, with Kendrick, LeBron not only resonated with Kendrick's ambitions of rising to the top, similar to what LeBron was doing in basketball, but LeBron also resonated with Kendrick's childhood, his story, feeling like they had similar come-ups. When he was speaking on Kendrick's 2017 album, Damn, he said, "I haven't stopped listening to it since he sent it to me. I don't even know if it was last week or not, but I had it before it came out, and Kendrick is an unbelievable talent. His wordplay and his lyrics are unbelievable. It hits home for me at times because I was a kid that grew up in the inner city, and his story about either you play ball or sell drugs, or that's it, there's no way out, you become a statistic. As an African-American kid growing up in the inner city, they don't believe that you can get out and become something. So that's why I'm able to relate to a lot of his lyrics and his stories." And while the W's racked up for all three parties involved, Drake, Kendrick, and LeBron, the L would be lurking around the corner. Or should I say the T? Yeah, you know what happened. Pusha T spilled the tea on Drake's kid that he was hiding from the world. But I'd rather you check this out instead. This is in the same month that the story of Adin dropped. Look at how Drake is checking out LeBron here. He's looking at him the way Big Mac's Akademiks looks at a burrito. Eyes just absolutely super glued to the meat. Now, unlike the Controlverse, I can't find any public record of LeBron reacting positively to the story of Adin or Drake's diss tracks in that Pusha beef. Maybe he was staying neutral at first, but he did end up giving Drake the platform on his show The Shop to essentially explain what exactly went down between Kanye West, Pusha, and Drake himself, and how the whole kid thing ended up getting exposed, how that info got in Pusha's hands. They basically did an entire episode of this show for Drake to do damage control over the whole situation. This was the first time he actually spoke on this battle after dropping out of it. I think the best thing to come out of this whole episode is this notoriously accurate Drake quote.
"I study rap battles for a living."
Like, just think about it. In the same episode, we have LeBron calling himself a hip-hop historian and Drake saying that he studies rap battles for a living. Now, the BBL Buffoon and Bron would continue building business ventures together. In 2017, the two produced the Carter Effect show, which covered Vince Carter's impact on Canadian basketball with the Raptors. They also produced Black Ice, which was a documentary about a defunct hockey league composed entirely of black players. In 2019, they teamed up to expand the Uninterrupted show by creating a Canadian branch. A few years later, they ventured into soccer, bidding to buy a portion of the popular Italian soccer team AC Milan, eventually even becoming members of a $1.2 billion deal involving the club. And it's at this time when all these business deals are going down and Drake is looking lustfully at LeBron as he's on the court, that Drake also decides to get a tattoo of LeBron on his arm. The tattoo is a depiction of LeBron from his high school career at St. Vincent St. Mary in Akron, Ohio. You could see that in Drake's tattoo, LeBron is wearing his famous Irish jersey, which was auctioned for over $180,000 in 2019. The same jersey he wore on a Sports Illustrated cover that labeled him the chosen one. And you might be thinking to yourself, isn't it kind of weird that Drake has a tattoo of an NBA player on his body? Well, Drake actually has 3 tattoos of NBA players on his body, and he recently replaced the LeBron one, but we'll touch on that shortly. But yeah, Drake's got 3 NBA star tats: LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. And unlike LeBron singing and dancing to Not Like Us on numerous occasions, Steph Curry, due to his close affiliation with Drake, was actually caught saying that he's sick of the song, and recently explained that he genuinely A, was sick of the song, but B, also felt kind of weird having his wife be at these games while the song is blasting, knowing that they have close ties to Drake and what the song is accusing Drake of being.
I knew you was really rocking with Drake when during the Olympics in the arena they're playing Not Like Us, and you were like, yo, this is not the only song in America, like enough with this song. Is that why, or were you just sick of the song at that point?
Oh, it's both. Everywhere we went, that's all I heard, and the fact that they knew who I was with.
But before we get too far ahead, back to LeBron and the BBL buffoon. The friendship only grew stronger. Drake was attending LeBron's son, Bronny James's basketball games at Sierra Canyon. In February of 2023, LeBron breaks the all-time NBA scoring record, and Drake makes a little congratulatory post for him.
LeBron, you're breaking the all-time scoring record. And to honor that, I had to come back to the place that it all started, Akron, Ohio. Every journey has its beginning. And tonight, I lied to you. I'm actually still at the club in Miami, but definitely all the girls say congrats though, right girls? Congrats?
And I will say, like, going back to what Drake said very early on in his career, how they were both kind of on the same wavelength, you kind of start seeing that come into full fruition throughout their careers, right? In 2018, LeBron passes 30,000 points in his career total, while Drake is breaking the Spotify record for most amount of streams in a single day. And while LeBron is breaking the NBA all-time scoring record in 2023, Drake simultaneously that same year is on the verge of breaking Michael Jackson's record for the most #1 hits on the Billboard charts. At the same time, he also breaks the record for highest grossing hip-hop tour of all time, and at one of the dates in Los Angeles, ironically, Drake has LeBron and Bronny walk him out. Speaking of Drake tours, I forgot, there was like 100 nights in 2018 when LeBron was dancing on stage with Travis Scott and Drake as they performed Sicko Mode. So to be fair to Drake, I guess it wasn't only him fanboying over LeBron. By 2018, LeBron started returning the favor by going crazy with the dance moves with Drake on stage. But remember, because it'll play an important role in the story very shortly, LeBron is a hip-hop fan first and foremost, right? But you might also look at it saying, well, him and Drake have all these business ventures together. Drake's been his #1 fan. He's been cheering him on since he came in the game in 2009. No one seemed happier when LeBron won his first ring than Drake did. Drake praises him every chance he could. LeBron told Drake he could tell him anything. So what the hell happened here, right? How did we go from this to this? Well, let's kind of work backwards here, alright? So, recently Drake put out the song, What Did I Miss? And many people think he's taking little jabs at LeBron when he raps, I saw bro went to pop out with them, but been deriding gang since headlines. He's talking about an individual who he claims has been deriding Drake since Drake dropped the song Headlines way back in 2011. And when he references the pop out, of course he's referring to Kendrick Lamar's pop out concert last year on Juneteenth 2024, where he brought out everyone from the West Coast to celebrate his victory, performed Not Like Us, I believe 6 or 7 times that night. On stage, you had everyone that is anyone in LA, from Mustard to Tyler to YG to Roddy Ricch, to Dr. Dre to Schoolboy Q, all of Black Hippie, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook. The list goes on. And in the crowd, you even had multiple massive high-profile individuals. Everyone from SZA, who was there dressed in disguise. The Weeknd was allegedly there. Rick Ross was allegedly there. Kanye's daughter, North West, was there. And of course, Drake's hubby, LeBron, made an appearance. He was trying to keep a low profile, he wasn't on stage. But as far as singing lyrics, LeBron is notorious for having no idea what's going on when it comes to transcribing rap lyrics and verbally reproducing them. I don't have to show you guys, but just look up LeBron Yabba Dabba Doo, They Don't Go to Old Navy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So everyone thought, given the history of LeBron not just being a hip-hop historian, but historically creating his own rap lyrics when rapping to other rappers' songs, it was very strange that on the week that Like That was released, the song with Metro, Future, and Kendrick that really kicked off this entire battle, LeBron knew the words after just 1 week, word by word, off by heart. Now, I couldn't find a screenshot, but apparently Drake had liked a post on Instagram showing LeBron singing the song, so he was catching on pretty early that LeBron was, at the very least, showing a vested interest within this beef, right? And we'd see him continue to show his support for both sides. Right after Drake released Push-Ups on April 13th, LeBron tweeted out, "Nothing like two heavyweights doing what they do best, for the love of the sport." And then he tweeted an owl with a bunch of fire emojis implying that Push-Ups was fire. This was a very different energy, though, than what LeBron carried throughout the Pusha T and Drake beef. Back then, again, he made no acknowledgement of Kanye or Pusha T's multiple albums they were dropping at the time, of any of the diss tracks that either side released, but instead, LeBron went on to support Drake's Scorpion album very heavily, and even featured Drake on his show to tell his side of the story of the beef. But there could be a deeper rooted issue here as to why LeBron has never really showed Pusha T much love publicly at all. Why he took Drake's side in the Pusha T beef, but stayed neutral or even sided with Kendrick during the Drake-Kendrick beef. So what am I referring to here? Well, back in 2009, Pusha T and his big bro, No Malice, had released their album as The Clips, Till the Casket Drops, and on there was a song called Popular Demand, one of the better tracks off the record. Pusha T raps on that song saying, "I used to have this white girl, she looked like Madonna though. Heard that she effing LeBron, but I don't know. Like that Bron? I had that a long time ago. Butt naked on the balcony at the Delano. The Delano. Pharrell would know." So, this song came out in 2009, right? LeBron James has been married to Savannah James since September 14th, 2013. However, they had been together since high school. LeBron is 40. I'm Canadian. In the US, you graduate high school at 18 years old? So, they had to have been going strong since at least 18, 22 years ago. 2003. I say this to say, people think that Pusha T was referring to a woman by the name of Yes Jules in these bars, because Yes Jules actually got her big break in 2014 after promoting a Sprite remix party for LeBron in Miami. However, this Pusha T record came out in 2009. LeBron and Savannah had to have been together at least since 2003. So the timelines are kind of sketchy here, right? For it to actually be Yes Jules that Pusha was referring to. Some white chick that he heard LeBron was messing with is what the lyrics go on to say, right? Either way, this is a little weird because obviously LeBron's wife, Savannah, is not white. So Pusha T is referring to a different woman, and I don't think he heard about a woman LeBron was messing with in high school that Pusha T had before LeBron did when they were both in high school. First of all, they didn't live in the same state or go to high school in the same state. So how would they have known the same girl way back then, right? He's obviously implying that he messed with a girl who had messed with LeBron, who was white, as LeBron was probably in a committed relationship with his now wife. This is going to play an important role in the story very shortly. Now, a couple days after Kendrick's Not Like Us diss track was officially released, there was a clip that surfaced of Savannah and LeBron at a party together, and you could see both of them very happy singing and dancing to the lyrics of this song. Now, you could argue both sides, right? LeBron is a fan of hip-hop. He's going to be a fan of the best diss track that comes out of this battle. He's a friend to both Drake and Kendrick. He even showed Drake love publicly, posting about his Push-Ups diss record. I don't think he actually ever posted about Kendrick's Not Like Us record or any of his diss records. We just caught him singing and dancing to them in private. So you could even make the argument that LeBron was showing Drake more love because he actually stamped one of Drake's diss records on social media. But as far as the Kendrick records go, you caught him singing it as he's warming up for a game, or you caught him at this party dancing to it with his wife, or you caught him at Kendrick's pop-out concert. Whatever it is, Drake didn't like it, all right? And we know this because the biggest indicator of this downfall between Drake and LeBron didn't first come with Drake unfollowing LeBron off Instagram. It didn't come with him removing his tattoo of LeBron off his arm. It didn't come with him replacing lyrics in his songs when he mentions LeBron. It came in the form of leaked DM messages, and there was a couple of them. So, the Big Mac minion Talab Rihanna, Big Mac Akademiks, has his own Big Mac minion called Grand Wizard Chat Guy, who runs the Propaganda Akademiks TV Twitter page that Punch from TDE accused Drake of actually writing the captions for. It's a disgusting Twitter page, but it gets a lot of traction, and Drake likes latching onto the traction, right? When Akademiks was just some loser streamer in his basement and had no value to provide Drake, Drake was telling him to hop off his live streams. But now Akademiks runs these big social media pages, so obviously it's in Drake's benefit to stay on Akademiks' good side, so Akademiks and his team always post Drake in the best light. Not only do they post Drake, they communicate with Drake behind the scenes and send him news, right? So when Big Mac is Akademiks' Big Mac minion, the Grand Wizard, got his Instagram leaked, the hacker noticed that Drake had been constantly communicating with him throughout the entire beef, and the Grand Wizard guy was sending Drake updates on every L he took, one of them including when LeBron danced to Not Like Us at that party that we reviewed before. Now remember, LeBron was dancing to the song just a few days after it was released. No music video yet. So he sends him pictures of LeBron dancing to it and says they filmed the music video with LeBron, thinking that this was, a party or footage specifically for the video. And Drake replied saying, "These guys are out in the first round. Nothing left to do but dance." A little lighthearted joke, but it showed that Drake was not too happy about LeBron dancing to the song that undoubtedly did the most harm to Drake's reputation amongst his entire career. Oh, and I did say we'd look at both sides of the argument way before in this video, but we only looked at the LeBron perspective. So from Drake's perspective, yes, you can understand, hey, buddy, we got all these business ventures together. We've been friends since 2009. Yes, you did a lot for me. You inspired me, but I've shown you a lot of love over the last decade and a half. I've helped you. You've helped me. So what's up now? Why are you, singing this song that is brutally damaging my entire life? And we know that's how Drake felt because, again, not only did he replace the words in his song nonstop from "How'd I go from 6 to 23 like I'm LeBron" to "How'd I go from 6 to 23 but not LeBron?" We also know that, again, Drake covered up the LeBron tattoo that he got in 2018 with another ball player, funny enough. We also know La Brianna, again, unfollowed LeBron off Instagram. Very petty. But things take a darker turn after Drake drops this bombshell of a lawsuit over that very same song that LeBron was singing. Not Like Us, you guys obviously know, he's suing UMG for defamation over the promotion and even just release of the record. And here's where a disturbing amount of leaks within Drake's operations start happening, right? So you get multiple songs and even reference tracks that start leaking. You get that chat that he had with the Big Mac Akademiks' Big Mac minion, that leaked, and then you get a DM, a very weird DM between Drake and what was apparently Gervonta Davis's old manager. I'm not going to give you the backstory here because I already did that in my video called Drake's History of Bullying Akademiks. So you guys can check that out on the channel because Akademiks was roped into this. But again, not going to give you the backstory here. Just going to give you the DM that references LeBron because it was very weird. So essentially, he's trying to defend his lawsuit, right? He's saying, me and Universal going to court is like if Nike was funding a campaign about LeBron James cheating on his wife. Not Adidas or Reebok, Nike, the company he has been with since he started. My situation is not no street stuff. Everybody before me that tried the label was too eccentric, so they wrote them off as crazy and they never had to pay for their sins or their mistakes. I'm going to make that change and make the building a safer place for every artist moving forward. So again, this is Drake defending the lawsuit and basically saying it's the equivalent of Nike funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife, the same way UMG funded a campaign about a song accusing Drake of being a PDF, right? The mysterious and kind of strange thing here is that Drake just casually throws in a comparison about LeBron James cheating on his wife out of nowhere to compare a completely unrelated situation. He basically lies to Akademiks, telling Akademiks that these DMs were fake, and then Akademiks discovered, like the rest of the world, that Drake had lied to him. Akademiks actually spoke to the guy who was receiving these DMs from Drake, and then in a fit of rage, Akademiks didn't care what he exposed because he had just been lied to by Drake, so he goes on his stream and says that LeBron can't be dancing to a song calling Drake a PDF because he used to run two-mans with Drake in Toronto, aka Drake and LeBron used to party at Drake's house in Toronto, and Drake would find him women that he would cheat on his wife with.
Yo, LeBron, you and Drake used to go on two-mans. You've been cheating on your wife. Drake used to facilitate the house, and basically, essentially, you can't dance to a song about him being a. He used to supply you with the.
Of course, this is alleged, right? This is just Akademiks talking crazy because he's mad that Drake lied to him. But things get weirder when you think of the fact that Savannah James was very happily dancing to that song that really marked the nail in the coffin for Drake and LeBron's relationship, right? There's also that recent footage of LeBron and, again, Savannah dancing and singing along to Not Like Us word for word a year after Not Like Us has already been released in July of 2025. She's definitely very happy and has been for the last year to sing this song. Maybe there's something deeper to LeBron and Drake's relationship that people around LeBron might not approve of. This kind of gets implied on the Fighting Irish freestyle by Drake that, again, mysteriously leaked a couple months after the beef. He was really going through a lot of leaks around whatever he had going on at the time. DMs, songs, whatever the case is. This freestyle leaks with a video of Drake actually rapping the bars, and they're all centered around LeBron, right? First of all, Fighting Irish. Again, Drake had a LeBron Fighting Irish tattoo on his arm. And if you go through some of the lyrics, I mean, it's pretty obvious here. Specifically bars like, "The world fell in love with the gimmicks, even my brothers got tickets. Seemed like they loved every minute. Just know this stuff is personal to us, and it wasn't just business." We know that LeBron, again, was at the pop-out show, right? Even Drake's brothers got tickets, and they loved every minute. LeBron was singing, dancing, vibing out throughout the whole beef. The thing is, he was also giving Drake props throughout the beef, and I just think you could chalk it up to LeBron being a fan of hip-hop overall and having relationships with both Drake and Kendrick. And Drake here being a little bit of a petty petition padre. But to give him the benefit of the doubt, this song did leak. It wasn't unofficial release by Drake. So maybe he, just wanted to get some stuff off, vent a little, and never meant for this song to actually see the light of day. But regardless of whether he wanted this song out or not, the intentions here are clear. Just know that this stuff was personal to us. It wasn't just business. We know that Drake and LeBron have had multiple business ventures in the past. Even in this video, I'm saying, this could just be business. This could just be for the love of the sport of hip-hop that LeBron is championing both sides and going to Kendrick's events where he's celebrating his victory. All that brother talk, they came up, they bonded over being the best in their respective businesses. This isn't some childhood friend. Drake and LeBron aren't childhood friends, right? This is business. To Drake, it was personal. Anyways, Drake continues rapping. "Remember we traded watches? I gave you that Arabic dial. You gave me a numbered edition. You would even check up on my son like a pediatrician." Now, these lines are definitely about LeBron. Both Drake and LeBron are known as luxury watch collectors. They were both seen rocking an Arabic dial watch. And as far as LeBron checking up on Drake's son, LeBron has made comments in the past about, Drake being a good father. Drake was obviously at a bunch of LeBron's son's basketball games in high school. I mean, it was on LeBron's Shop show that Drake was even announcing the fact that this was officially his son, right? So obviously LeBron is a little bit tangled in there, and he's not talking about Kendrick Lamar when he says "you would even check up on my son like a pediatrician," because the most Kendrick has ever interacted with Drake's son is that verse on Meet the Grams where Kendrick is talking about never letting anyone urinate on your leg. Plus, again, the freaking song is called Fighting Irish Freestyle, right? Do the math here. And Drake continues in these bars acting dumbfounded that, LeBron switched up on him, rapping stuff like, "You sure convinced the gang that this stuff was rooted in love, but it isn't. Show me how different we are. There's blessings in juxtaposition. I guess now you boys gotta abandon your summer tradition." Now, LeBron has had a summer tradition of going to Toronto, attending the Caravana Festival and the OVO Fest, Drake's festival, for about a decade now. But in 2024, obviously during that summer, he attended Kendrick Lamar's version of the OVO Fest, right? The pop-out. And because of that, Drake is now saying, not only did you abandon your tradition of, coming to visit Toronto in the summer, but now that invitation to continue the tradition is no longer on the table. He continues, "Cold shoulders I gave in the Hamptons, it comes with the distance. Figured we were always going to be close like ovens and kitchens. I was sadly mistaken. The loyalty wasn't a given." People speculate that the Hamptons bar could have been about LeBron. It also could have been about Michael Rubin's White Party, which was one of the first events Drake actually attended after this beef kicked off. And what a crazy place to make your first public appearance after a loss like that, right? With all these different artists, celebrities, public figures in this party. LeBron wasn't there though. So we'll continue on to the bar that really had people contemplating between, what Drake was insinuating in those leaked messages about, Nike doing a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife, to the claims Akademiks made that LeBron used to go out to Toronto to visit Drake without Savannah, to even the claims that Pusha T made in his song way back in 2009 about a white girl that had messed with LeBron that Pusha T knows. All that kind of stuff seemed like speculation until you get these bars right here where, again, it's 100% obvious that he's talking to LeBron. You might be asking why? Well, because he raps, "God forbid we ever have to tarnish your public image. All that brother talk as if I really discovered a sibling. 6 degrees, my memories retrieving our humble beginnings." Do you remember the name of the nightclub where Drake hosted his So Far Gone mixtape release party? The party that LeBron showed up to that Drake to this day cites as a pivotal moment within his career. It was called 6 Degrees. What's the name of this song? Fighting Irish. What's the team name of the jersey that Drake has tatted on him from LeBron? Fighting Irish. What nightclub does he name drop here where he's talking about tarnishing someone's public image? All that my brother talk. Drake talking about humble beginnings. What does he say right before those humble beginnings? Those humble beginnings where he was just about to release his So Far Gone mixtape. He says 6 Degrees. The same name of the nightclub that LeBron showed up to celebrate the first big break that Drake had in music, his humble beginnings. The suspicious bar here is, God forbid we ever have to tarnish your public image. LeBron right now has an untouched, untarnished reputation, right? A very clean one. He also had a brotherhood, supposedly, with La Brianna. We're now seeing him a year and a half later continue to sing with all his heart and soul every word to Not Like Us. We know Drake does not like this, but will he make good on his threat to tarnish LeBron's public image? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one.